following is a presentation of MRE Uno, Division 1. They say in sport, to beat the champ, first must beat the champ. So, to be the champ, you must first beat the champ. But today, it's a little bit different. You have something that we may have never seen before. A match that was supposed to happen in May of last year, but never actually played in a mysterious form. For Ashley, a 2024 that she'll never forget. Coming into this league, her first ever career game was against H, and it was a sweep. 4-0, lights out, night-night. And now she looks to come back here in March Madness, and try to make it back to March for the finale. It's not easy to go back-to-back finales in any one given year, let alone doing the same tournament in 2 separate years. The champ is here, and she's ready to go. Enter Eric Monaco, who's looking to pull up the one upset that nobody ever expects. Nobody ever expects Eric Monaco to come up here and take care of the business. He knows what to do. He's been around the block in other leagues. But this is a little bit different. For Eric, it's about one thing. Seeing red and seeing an upset. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the World Champions Return, the stream game. We got a big crew today, and we got ourselves a barn burner because we're going to introduce one guy that I've been waiting to commentate for a while with. But before we get to that, Caesar is about to say holy moly because we cannot get off the Game 7 train. We started off with Myth and Rad this morning at 11 o'clock, and oh my word, what a weird game that was. Myth was up 3-1, all control on his end. And then all of a sudden, here comes Rad to tie it up 3-3. But Myth found a little bit of control in that Game 7. Used a little bit of that magic. No power play he needed. But he got the win. Huge control. And Myth moves on into a crikey matchup. Potentially with Kappa Rogers. And then, say what you want about Brian, man. Brian coming in here as easily the man, right, of who knows what to expect. Expect the unexpected. That's Brian for you. He cooked you Pez, a world champion, ex-world champion, a 7. That makes it 11 out of 18 games that have gone 7. 13 out of 18 have gone 6 or more. What can you ask for? Ashley, Eric coming up. Then you got myself back at it here with Chamek and Grim. Brock's on the call for that. Got Tago reffing his first career game in the league. And then the nightcap, way after dark, 10:30 non-stream. Carson Larahuo. Should be a good one for that. Winner will get C-Tago. You'll have some rooting interest in that as well. Well, how do we get here at this preview match? And there's nothing to say. For Ashley, 13-4 in the regular season. That one lone DQ win being Eric Monaco back in Masquerade May. 2 trophies, a regular season and a Super League debut. The double-double, as I like to call it. March 2024, they got the silver. And, of course, April Aquatic got the silver. 16 wins, 83 wins in her career. She's been through it all in one season, legendary season. Now for Eric, look, he still is in the rookie class because of some things last year. Didn't compete every tournament, but he is more active this year, and he's looking to be hungry and fight off potentially one of his biggest challenges of the year. Can Eric Monaco take care of the business and put it on poll? We'll find out. We go to the pod now, and this game, we're just going to say, was a game of, we wish Kev the best. Alan just took the old lunch money and ran. Let's go with that. Congratulations to Alan, who'll move on to play the winner of this game, Ashley and Eric. We'll see how that one goes. And then the unknown, man. The unknown of Avion background. With this bot seemingly Very interesting with the meta and +2 control being a meta. Can Abiyan come back and fight as he did in 2024? Abiyan, obviously, as announced, we are going to Bangkok, Thailand for Super League. He's from Indonesia. You know he wants to start the year off right. And then a crazy game with Logan Monkey. Monkey tried a late reverse at the end, power play. Got him a check, but then he bailed on a reverse draw, and then unfortunately that ended his March Madness early. March Monkey, S no more. We'll see how he does moving forward. Well, that's all for the pregame right here. Let's go into the scene. And joining me in the booth, special player, special man, Seth Cole makes his debut with us. Seth, you've had some test sessions, man. Yet to see your first official stream. I'm hosting this one. You'll get your chance, though, in the sunrise, soon, before we know it. We got a world champ here, man. And to get that, we have to get some big guns here. I know I want to shout out Cody Lamas. Thank you so much, Cody, for allowing this, man. If you're listening, brother, great man as always. Thank you. I wrote Seth then, but we know you're watching in spirit. So, Seth, Ashley's been through the ringer, right? 16 wins, world champion. Last year, we knew she could have potential, and she proved us right. Now, she comes in basically with the belt around her chain, whatever you want, belt around her waist, chain around her neck, and you look at this and say, okay, how do you top a season unlike any other? And for Ashley, she'll have one chance to do that, and it starts here today, because you only get one March Madness, you only get one first career win, you only get one career Super League maybe. So what do you think her expectations are this season? How do you follow up the act? And what do you do if you're Eric, knowing that this is a position basically where you're out here with house money. You have nothing to lose. If you go out there and win, great. If you don't, it's about improving seeding as a 16 seed. What do you think the mindset is for both, especially the world champ coming in here on house money as well, knowing that, hey, I'm here. It's the first game of the year. I'm hyped up.
I mean, starting with Ashley coming in as the defending champion, obviously there's a little bit of added pressure. People wouldn't necessarily think that. I mean, you've already been to the top of the mountain, but you want to do it again. You want to stay on that pinnacle. Ashley statistically has the advantage coming into this, had an incredible season last time, as you mentioned, in 2024, bringing home the entire thing. She wants to be able to say she's a back-to-back champion now, and that puts a little bit of added pressure to perform. Probably going to stay with what brought her to the dance, all of the way that she plays. She'll probably go right back to that again. I don't think you'll see a whole lot of outside-the-box playing from her. And then on the Eric Monaco side, again, statistically, coming into this one, it looks like it's going to be a very easy 1 seed taking on the 16 seed and running away with this thing. But let's go back a couple of days ago here, KT. We ended up having 2 of our number 1 seeds on the Hufflepuff and the Ravenclaw side get trounced by the number 16 seeds. They're gone. They're out of the round of 64 already. Right now, it appears the only number 1 seed that has been able to move on. So you talk about this new bot, and I think with what we've seen too, you talked about these games getting extended into Game 7s. I think the moniker right now in this round of 64 is expect the unexpected, because, on any given day, on any given hand, there could be an upset, and we could see that here today. So, for Eric, I think that there's the confidence there in knowing that the trend so far has been that there's been chances for the lower seed players to be able to take on those higher seeded players. But again, he's got a tough task here because he's taking on the defending champ. So I think for both of them, it's just keep your cool, keep your head in the game, work with what works for you, and hope that it pans out, and hopefully have the bot be on your side here today.
Said we always talk about league history. You were there for that Charles Sanford Leah game, where it was that 215 back in T5, and we were all saying, oh my God, Sanford got taken to the brink in Game 7. That might have been a sign of things to come, because every single player has stepped up. I'm going to go to Caesar before we go to the players. Caesar, you've been dropping holy mollies left and right, but this is a different beast here. This is Eric Monaco, who was supposed to play Ashley back in T3, but circumstances, whatever, couldn't happen. Now she is a world champion compared to her, let's say T3 was just a double medalist. And Eric comes in here knowing, okay, I'm the underdog, but look at everyone else. If Leah and Zach can do it, why can't I at least just take it 7? And who knows, right? You take it to 6 or 7, you got a shot. Your thoughts on how Eric's going to handle the pressure, and what is Ashley's mindset coming into this game, knowing she does have that hardware and a lot of expectations now compared to last year where she flew under the radar. We'll go into Ashley first. Ashley, it's great to be back. You're the world champion, defending world champion, 2-time league world champion, and another world championship, and another server. You got 2 of them, basically. 2 hardware trophies, a little regular season. You've been the hardware princess, but now you come into this new season, everyone knows your name. You got nowhere to roam, you got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, right? How do you compensate and encapsulate the moment today knowing that everyone knows your name now, everyone's chasing you, and you got to protect the turf here in the league? Feel free to type it out. And of course, anything you want to mention in your offseason, go ahead. Eric, simple as this, my friend. Well, you're up here with a brutal task. Many people would say, okay, it's over. Now, of course, you had that really good sweep on Aiden Smith to knock him out of D1, ironically, the relegation tournament. He played very interesting against Ghost, just got caught up. For you, it's about just understanding the rhythm. How are you going to understand the rhythm knowing it's been a little bit of layoff and the rust in the offseason to put in a good fight today?
Well, to be honest, KT, it's been pretty tough, and I've seen like the past games before. Seven up to 7 games and such, but I think I might break that rhythm here a bit, maybe. But yeah, it's been pretty tough. Smith probably gave me a run, but I did able to sweep him. But shows that I wasn't like that terrible, but I'm still pretty good. And also, me and Ashley have never competed each other because real life had to get in the way of that. But anyway, this could be a first that that Ashley and me have to fight to get to the second round.
Yeah, Eric, and you keep going, you're good.
You can go.
Well, I was just going to say, man, you were supposed to have this matchup in T3. Keep it going. You're good, though.
Yeah, but anyway, I'll see what she's made of finally. Knowing that she swept her first match, and she was supposed to take me on the second one, and so I'll see what she's made of finally. Hopefully, I'll give her quite a fight, but I'll see what champion's all about.
All right, that's Eric Monaco laying the law. Let's see what Ashley said. Yeah, my position now is a 180. It's basically a 1080 at this rate compared to where I was a year ago. Going to the first match, everyone knows me now, and they're also gunning, right? I don't really know there's anything I can do different since it worked last time. Of course, I'll adapt when need to be, and hopefully my few weeks of Uno break and get back into it. Obviously, Seth, we had one of the things about this year's layoff, one thing I'll add as we wait for Caesar to type, is we didn't have the usual 4-month break. Remember, most seasons we like to finish late October as compared to 23, and then we get back in sometime mid-February. Here, all we had was basically January off and half of December. And here we are in February now, February 7th. We're back on the table. It's a little shorter off season. Do you think that actually could favor into both players knowing the rust may not be as long? Ashley, especially Ashley, only had to wait 45 days compared to Eric, who might have had to wait 90 or 100.
I think it plays into both players' favor. I think it plays into all the players' favor here through this entire tournament because, yeah, as you mentioned, it's not a 4-month off week, if you will, off season. You're not coming in stone cold. You kind of still remember a little bit of the strategery you used to have back in the 2024 tournament. It probably, I'm going to give these guys maybe one hand to maybe just get back into their rhythm, try to get used to what their strategy is, get the step back for them, if you will. I think you're going to see a transition very quickly of them finding their comfort levels with the fact that we had that rather expedited offseason here between 2024 and 2025.
Yeah, I definitely look forward to it. I'm going to adjust some things. Got some people telling me the desktop audio might be a little loud. It's okay. I'll get that fixed in a second here. And I'll do that. And got it. There we go. Got that desktop audio down. Appreciate that, short. Well, for Caesar, he basically said one game at a time. For Eric, we saw the upset, of course, with JT. That wasn't the best conditions for Mr. Turner, but we'll see how it goes with JT, man. He'll try to bounce back. Brad obviously lost. Tough one for him to swallow. But it has to be mistake-free, and anything can happen, right? I think that's been the number one thing, Caesar. You absolutely are on point. If it's mistake-free Uno, It's game, man. Anything can happen. It's game on, and that's the beautiful thing about this game. If you play mistake-free, you play with it, you'll be ready to go and ready to roll. With that, let's get to the business end. Jay Caesar's our ref. Let's get down to it. Of course, the fans at home. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. That must have been from yesterday. Let's wait for that. Of course, the fans at home. It's going to be it's best of 7, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1. Of course, from Caesar. Power play will be 1. Max command chain is 4. And we know what's up. It's the usual March rules for round 1. All right, Ashley. It's been 50 days, basically. 55 days. It's great to have you back, my friend. And as always, you know the rules. It's game 1. It's the first game of the year. How many for game 1? What are we doing? Wait for Ashley to type in. We're going to go 13. Here we go. It's in. Caesar's going to wish us good luck. Let's get this underway. The world champ is back in action. And we're underway with the non-blue 4 to start us off. And Seth, you got to think here, now that the game starts, about sorting through the hand. Ashley is probably the number 1 player now in the league of maybe not starting the game right away immediately, taking your time, right? Just 30 seconds, see what we can do with the creativity on it. We talked about this bots organization being, let's face it, very, very clean, and it allows more creative looks. Your thoughts on the way the cards are organized and the way the bots are organized helping this gameplay today?
Oh, I mean, I can't say enough. I can't sing the praises enough about the bot. After it was introduced near the end of last season and into this season, I honestly think that it helps the players be able to organize their thoughts, no pun intended, a little bit easier in terms of figuring out number efficiency, figuring out what they want to do in terms of chaining things out, also figuring out when they want to utilize the powerful power play. I mean, you end up seeing a situation and you think to yourself, all right, if I can get this 1 or 2 cards played, then I know my power play can get me the rest of the way. I think the organization that this bot provides with the hands and everything, it has made not only the strategy better, but the gameplay better as well. We've seen a lot of players that normally, as you alluded to, kind of like they take a moment, take a few seconds to strategize. They're able to formulate their strategy a little bit quicker. We see a little bit quicker gameplay out of this new bot now.
Well, that's the gameplay. It's about the efficiency. Because you look at this set, the efficiency in Uno, you don't think about it on the number efficiency. But now we're starting to get into this next level of gameplay where thought processing efficiency as we go to a drip 0. We had a banger game last night. Took it to 7 with heat check art over 80 minutes. It becomes a different juxtaposition as we go to Camaro. We'll see him tomorrow as well. You look at the way these players are playing, it's more thought out. It's more process oriented. It's more data driven. We have never seen this. In a game of Uno, first the Uno, see ya. Not anymore. You have to be process-oriented and play the game more chess-like, but it's speed chess. Your thoughts on the wavering of that new theory of speed chess with a bunch of metas we're still figuring out for the first time in league play, with everybody back for this bot?
I think that's a great term, speed chess, because, you go back to the situation that we had a couple of days ago with Brad versus Zach. Zach had an answer for everything that Brad was able to throw out there. And, maybe under normal circumstances when we had the older bot, Zach wouldn't have gone with that type of strategy. He might have had his own path and tried going with that while Brad had his own path. But now we see, and we saw this about a week ago as well, during the test stream that we did. We ended up seeing a lot of defensive playing, being able to utilize color efficiency as well to throw others off track that we normally haven't necessarily seen in the past. A lot more on the defensive side than on the offensive side, which I think that this new bot has given these players the ability to step out a little bit, adapt a little bit more, and be able to utilize.
Well, we're going to start it off with your card, Seth, from the first wild. It says Eric Monaco. We go into that green wild, and Ashley pretty much staying the course here. Same with Eric. Pretty toe-and-toe game. Not much ammo. Easy money right now. See what Eric's got cooking. He'll play it cool, and I think playing it cool is important right now, Seth. It's a game 1. It's a feeler. I've never played. As Ashley draws, you got to know when to make the break and know when to make the right time, for sure.
Exactly. We've seen too many times where players will feel that they're in a situation where they have to use their ammo right then, and then a couple plays later, they're kind of kicking themselves, saying, man, if I just hung on to that +2, or if I'd hung on to that +4, could have been a difference maker and the momentum wouldn't have shifted. You got to have that foresight to be able to know exactly when the right time is to be able to play it, because you can find yourself caught out, have the IMO used against you as a counter, and then find yourself on the back foot.
We'll fix that scoreboard issue. Thank you. Everyone's hitting me up. Caesar will get on that. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, there we go. It's run. Yeah, try not to get off the browser. It's fun. We'll go to the green 2. Here comes Eric looking for a potential switch here. Let's see what he's got. Eric, we're going to type it in.
Nice job. He's played it very cool here this entire game so far. And Caesar alluded to it. One game at a time. He's the number 16 seed going up the defending champ. Eric cannot look 1, 2, 3 games ahead. He's got to keep in the moment, and doing that right now. This is looking like a really good run here. Now Ashley with 8 cards. What can she? Oh, Eric did not get the Uno in time.
No, I think he did actually.
Not quite.
No, you got
just barely. Mere seconds. Ashley got the call out before Eric called the Uno.
No, you got it in. You got it in, Seth.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay. Wow. According to my chat, she got the call out before he got the Uno in. So Discord a little off timing there.
Well,
and look at that.
I mean, that's crazy. Eric, you got the win there, man. Some number efficiency. You missed the Uno call, but other than that, it was pretty much pretty clean game from you. You had, other than what, one wild. That was it, really. I mean, you just kind of ran it through plan A.
Yeah.
It's Uno C.
Yeah, I think it was call out. That almost got me, but I was quick to realize what happened. But anyway, still got the win, still got it. It was pretty tough. I was like I was in that state, like where like if she draws a wild, if she draws +4 or a +2 or something rather than the same color or a wild, that throws me off. That might have been me, but really, almost the call out there that got me, but
yeah, you good? No, very good.
Thankfully, I got it in time. Hopefully, I probably should have done it with the same X, but either way, still got it in time, and also props to Ashley trying to call me out as quick as she did, but I was just quicker.
Guess so. Actually, yeah, nothing that game? It's very rare. Or was it just a case where you just buying your time? Nothing. Okay. Interesting. Well, we'll see, Seth. Sometimes these game 1s are interesting where if you have low ammo, you got to know how to read the game with the spot. If it's low ammo, you got to start thinking about putting ammo in a different way. All numbers. 1 green. Okay. Interesting. Okay.
Really low ammo in what was played too. Just 2 reverses, 1 skip, 1 wild. So really nothing to be able to accumulate the opponent's hand, just to be able to keep a run going. And that number efficiency that we saw there too. I mean, no cards drawn in a 13-card hand there for Eric. So very well played on this first game.
I don't got much. We'll move over to game 2 and we'll see how this one goes. All right, actually everything's free to go except for actually nothing. You're good to go. Eric got the 13. We'll see how he does. We'll go up 1 to 14 here. See how this one goes. Looks like everything's out of the way now. We'll find out what happens on a 14-card start. Started up yellow 1 into Brock. Fortunately for Brock, you lost to Jenna. Well, now Seth, the game 1's out of the way. The feelers are gone, right? Still nothing. This is crazy, man. We'll see though. This could be a strategy. We always know Ashley. Just because she doesn't have it doesn't mean she could have something in the end.
Well, what did she say in the pre thing? She said that she adapts. Well, she ended up having 13 cards in the first hand. Wasn't able to get ammo. Doing something a little bit different here. Maybe trying to throw Eric off. Not let him see the same thing that he saw back in game 1.
Yeah, right now Eric going to, let's see, go to switch mode into Peter. It says free her up. Yes, it will. Into Lane Sanders. And then it's all about the switch up, man. It's all about the switch up game, understanding how you can navigate the opponent, navigate the room. And that's what Ashley does very well in her career so far. Eric, he's in an interesting spot right here. He did a good job saving the ammo, and for him, you talked about one move at a time. That ammo control will be key as he throws +2 early. Interesting, Seth.
Yeah, very early on with that +2. Unless he felt that maybe this is going to be him out of blue and looking for a switch over or something like that. Maybe didn't have another +2 to be able to create a chain for another color on the next turn. But yeah, that seems, especially after Ashley drew on the initial card to play that +2 this early. We'll see what his plan is here. Does he have number efficiency? Did he still? Okay, so there you see into the. So he was out of blue. Played the +2 to get to the last blue, which was his blue 9, now swapping it over to the yellow.
Yeah, Eric going real aggressive here. Eric is going extremely aggressive, trying to put this back in his favor, basically, be the aggressor, control the game. It's worked before. It's definitely worked before. We've seen it work in multiple ways with this bot, where if you can control the game, it can work, but if not, it can go haywire, and Eric decides to go with the yellow wild there. And there's the crossover set.
There's the icer.
Yep. This could be a KT classic on the KT. We'll see.
And going back to what you were saying, I don't think there's such a thing as being under-aggressive. You're either aggressive or over-aggressive. And I think right there, Eric was a little over-aggressive, overstepped just a bit, and Ashley had the answer.
Gotta know how to read the game, and that's but he gets the number efficiency back. Let's see if Ashley can combat that with a So just trying to expose that yellow, right? Keep it off the yellow, and then play keep away. Classic undercut there, Seth, for sure. And that is Rainbow 4. Skittles him out early. Let's break it out. The old Skittles are popped out. And we've seen a lot of that. I don't have a tracker, but there's had to be about 9 or 10 games where we've seen, or series, where we've seen the rainbows pop out. But now this is part of the new meta, right? You see that the first game for Ashley, maybe he just wasn't cooking on the action cards, and how do you line that back up to get back in your favor and back in your court? You try a little bit of undercutting and see what happens. Here comes Eric.
Yeah, with that rainbow play there too, they very easily could have had where, Ashley had more green or Eric had more red, but the swap over is to kind of throw your opponent off. When you play a card for number efficiency to swap the color over, you kind of have a plan to be able to get rid of all of that particular color, but once that color immediately snaps to something else, then all of a sudden your strategy changes and your strategy is completely thrown off. It's an offensive tactic that a lot of players have had to adapt to. Even here in this season, I think I've seen a whole lot of color swaps and number efficiency that has kind of put people out of the offensive mindset and back into the defensive.
Well, that's the thing, Seth, as we go into a red 7 here, actually going to test Eric on the red. You just don't know anymore with this bot, the way it's organized. As I said at the top of the show, you can play with the numbers and it's all clean. The old bot, you had none of that. It was all, you had to figure it out, and sometimes figuring it out would be a costly one. Now, Eric right here, in a good spot, but can he get the number efficiency? He says no. So this is where, if you're Eric here, Seth, you got the lead. Nothing wrong with the little draw city early on, right? You don't mind taking a draw and go from there.
Yeah, for sure. I think right now, gets a little top deck there. And Ashley's got something to answer, so maybe they both top decked right there and both got a red.
Well, still going to draw there, so that's it's been mirror imaging on the draws. Still 6 possessions here. Eric up by 6, but he's content. There's really nothing you can do right now other than just play it safe, right? Don't be aggressive to the point where, well, just as I say that, Eric going to try to go back to that yellow. He seems to favor the yellow, though, so let's see how Ashley combats that. Yeah, well, that's smart. Right, cut the yellow off.
Into the green.
Yep, cut the yellow off, see where it goes from there. Eric will play the green, too.
He does. Yep. Yeah, but he does have the green. Remember, he was out of the red, and I believe he was out of blue earlier on, but obviously in that little bit of a draw city, he might have been able to get some blue.
Yellow the key there. I think Eric's lock and chain is yellow. Let's see what Ashley does here first. If I missed it, I think it might be her first. Let's see. Yeah, first action card of a wild. Well, no, double wild, but no +4. No +4s yet in this game, so it's been
not yet.
Low ammo game. Ashley hasn't played a +2 yet. Very low ammo.
We've seen a number of the regular wilds, but we've yet to see that +4.
We'll see how this one goes moving forward now. Eric up by 8, but Ashley's got the possession. See how it goes.
She's taking her time, too, because Eric's down to 3 cards here. Got to be smart with this play.
Here she comes, typing up, looking to possibly put this one on net. Here's a big run set. There we go.
I was going to say, were we setting up? Were we loading up the gun there? Because, yep, she just pulled the trigger.
Triggers pulled her set. Pow! Triple play. Now Eric going to respond. Let's see. Does he play it cool here? Eric, we're going to load up here. Let's see what he can do.
What type of ammo did he have there with 3 cards? What type of ammo was he given there with the 6 extra?
Eric, we're going to load up, try and maybe he'll respond back. We'll see. It's about timing the ammo, too, right, Seth? You time it one way, it works, and so you time it the wrong way, and boom, the other player... Okay, so Eric goes for the quad erases almost all of that. Not quite, but got 66% of that erased. Now it's 10-5 here. We'll see what Ashley would do here. Now the question becomes, Seth, for Ashley... There could be a deficiency for Eric on yellow now. He may have burned all his yellows. He may have got through that reserve. And now, do you go back to that? That's the risk you take. And, well, there's no need. Because,
there's the +4.
Yeah, there's no need. And that's going to flip the game just back in Ashley's favor. We're back to the 8-9 we just started on a little bit ago. So, it's ticky-tacky right now, Seth. You got to say, it's ticky-tacky. We're trading blows here on ammo, as Ashley will try to work on the yellows now, as Eric seems to favor that a ton.
Yeah, draws it back even. We had 4 plays, 4 flips of the advantage. And right back to the icing of the green.
There's the old Seth Wild on the cards. Here comes Eric. He'll play it cool, though. Here comes Ashley now. See what she can do with this green. She'll play it cool as well.
Definitely. I think you got it tabbed right. Eric, like in the yellow. Looks like Ashley's favoring the green here. She used the +4 to get over there. She used the wild to get over to it. And now Eric swaps it over to the blue. This will be interesting because we haven't been in blue for a bit.
Yeah, it's a neutralizer, really. Other than that +2,
yep.
A couple numbers, yep. Neutralizer here from Eric. Let's see into Andy from Radden. Now Ashley loading up, thinking this one through. And that's the key, Seth, when you're thinking this one through. It's about understanding now the colors and using your card history. We talked about the bot having the CH tab open for everybody. And Ashley's one of the best at using that and understanding what players have. That's what got her a ring in Super League, right? We saw the game with JT, the last game of the year. JT had a bunch of ammo, but he didn't know when to play. Got too patient, and that's the problem. You get too patient, it doesn't work. And the mindset of the playoffs for regular season is different. Regular season, you gotta know when to be aggressive. You gotta know when to. Playoffs, it's the best players. The patience will be there. The timing will be there. You just got to understand the reps of it and understand the muscle memory, because if you don't, you can get bit out for sure. Talk to me about the difference between playoff Uno. You've never been there, but a regular season game in a playoffs, in any environment, tell me.
I mean, the pressure's ramped up because, obviously you had to go through the fire and the flames in order to get to the playoffs, but then you know that every single play, it's not even just every single hand, it's not every single game, it's every single play is a difference maker. If you make just one wrong move, that could be the entire momentum shift against you, and then you find yourself scrambling to get back into it. You want to be able to just keep it nice and calm, keep your head in the game, work with what works. Don't go outside of your comfort zone. Don't have to try and play outside the box. I mean, in terms of playoffs, yeah, I mean, I haven't experienced it, but I've observed playing and everything, and it's when players seem to really, I don't know, they go to a different zone. It's like all of a sudden they up their game, they up what they're able to do in terms of gameplay, and I don't know, it's an entirely different level that sometimes players are very naturally comfortable with, but sometimes other players have to adapt to.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's crazy, man, because in the game of Uno, you think about this, Seth, there's a lot of things that can go right or wrong here. Caesar puts the law. I just want to make sure the scoreboard's right when you're talking. It's all right, Steve. It's a little off. That's okay, man. You look at the way this is going, and Caesar also said a really good point. All the wilds, I'm trying to look at this game chat when we had that little break. now that all the wilds are used, all the pressure's now amped up, it puts into perspective what really matters in the game. Because as we continue to limit the ammo efficiency, you start to wonder, when's the next flurry, right? When's the next activity? And just as I say that, here we go, Seth.
There it is.
And that's why that's the classic Ashley. I'm gonna wait and see you at the finish line. Well, not a surprise. That's a classic way of getting the job done. Kind of saw it coming too. That's how Ashley plays. Take your time and don't rush anything. Ash, once again, game one. You know, you didn't seem to know a lot of the commands there with the Uno call, but this time clear. Are you trying to get back familiar with the game? We got to understand your situation too, right? During the break, you took 8-hour exams, right? You've taken countless courses. Medical field is no joke. Now coming back into this environment, you're used to the pressure, right, of an exam in school or whatever. But talk to me about this patience aspect. It's one of the things you would never think in your game that's really been allowed you to flex when you get to those finishes. You have good pace management. It's one of the things in your game that's worked. Talk to me how that pace management worked there. And a lot of the wild uses, too. A little bit more aggressive in the past where you usually would use the wild as your last card. How has the body evolved to where you can't use the wild as your last card? Eric, you got beat to the punch there, man, but I have to ask. Very aggressive with the ammo, man. You went off the bat +2, +2, bunch of reverses and skips. Do you think you got caught out a little bit too aggressive and you got caught with your pants down? We talked about timing. Your thoughts on the timing there, for sure.
Yeah, I think I was too a little aggressive early to start, but you just never know how your opponent's gonna go. Well, I just found out recently at what Ashley's like, but yeah, I think the first one she was just trying to get a feel out for me or whatever, but I kept going to yellow mostly because my favorite one of my favorite colors were yellow, growing up and stuff.
Okay.
But I think I had my instincts, about her going to green, so I just tried my best to keep her away from green, and also why it went to blue. So so my instincts were correct, but sadly I was a little too aggressive.
Well, that's what I was just talking about, Seth. As we'll see these comments here, it's taking the time to see what I have and how I can use it. I'll take my time with that. I don't really have a limited time, so why not rush it? Why, exactly. There's no 5-man timer. Also, I got all the wilds from the +2, and that's the thing. We talked about this, Seth. If Eric wants to pull it off, that's a simple mistake. It's simply where he could have maybe, instead of going with these crazy chains on the +2s, he could have just waited, right? Play a little bit more efficient Uno, and that's the thing Eric has to learn with the bot meta, and as well as Ashley. There's 20 metas. It's a new platform. We talk about, we're both race guys. When a new regulation or a new set of regulation or new technology comes out, you have to break it in like a glove. And we still haven't broken this thing in. Talk to me about the evolution and learning process of always being in that growth mindset compared to the past where you had the old bot where, let's face it, if you had years of notes, use them. Now it's completely different. You have to rebuild the notebook.
Exactly. And that's why we've seen all these game 7s already in this round of 64, all these upsets as well, because, you can go aggressive, but you run the risk that you're giving over the ammo advantage to the opponent. And with what Ashley said right there as well, taking time, formulating things out. I love that approach because you ended up seeing that she was basically a 2-color hand there at the end. She could have used green, she could have used blue, kept trying to get it back there to the green, but it kind of faded away. Didn't show that blue was that second color, and when Eric played the blue 3, she was able to pounce. The fact we don't have that time limit, taking the opportunity here, I know a lot of people, they really like that rapid play. They like to be able to, in a sense, throw the opponent off in terms of, oh, well, you played that, well, I've got an answer for that right here immediately. The hanging back, the waiting and formulating everything up, I think that, to your point, the meta of this bot, the taking your time approach might be something that you'll see a lot more people adapt to, because you really need to do that to be able to look at all aspects, not only just what your hand is, but what could be on the other side.
Yeah, we'll see. We just talked about this. It's the patience versus aggression, but it's also the pace, the methodical pace versus that quick thinking pace. In the past, maybe a quick thinking pace will be it, but we don't know. We don't know what's going to work until we get about a year under this thing. We're going to find out a big lesson tomorrow when we get to Ghost, who plays absolutely cracked on speed as well as hockey. But this is a little bit different for sure. And Yupez says in the chat, Ashley threw the house to Eric. Well, we saw Yupez, Brian threw the house to but couldn't finish it off, right? And he says it's a similar strat to Allen. We'll see. Winner gets Allen. Could be a preview. We'll find out if it's either one. All right. Let's go to Eric Monaco now. Eric, you know the drill. It's CSR, no 13, everything free. What do we got? 5 to 15 as always.
All right, let's take it one step up and make it 15.
We're sending, boys. Okay, Eric with the full send set off the bat. Whoa, that's big. What's your thoughts on that, Seth, real quick? 15 cards from Eric. We talk about this. The patience matters in the card stars too. He's going for it.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, so far, the high card counts of the 13 and the 14, it's looked like out of the gate, Ashley hasn't had much in terms of ammo. The ammo advantage, at least in the early going, has been to Eric. We'll see here with another high card count with the full send. If it evens out, the advantage goes to Ashley, or if it's going to be pretty much the same as you saw in the first two games here. And if that is the case, how is Eric going to be efficient with said ammo? What's he going to learn from what he had there in terms of the ammo kind of coming back to bite him in game two?
Well, I think for Eric, it's about patience, right? He now understands you can't be throwing all these haymakers early, right? Great, you want to get the 2-0, that's great, but sometimes in the game of Uno, you got to take 3 or 4 steps back, Seth, to get 10 steps forward. If you try to take 10 steps forward, you're falling off the edge of the cliff. A great example of this definitely would be probably the Ed game. I redid that game. There wasn't much ammo, but the problem was Ed, he decided to get too crazy on the color switches. That's another problem. You get too crazy on that, on one single trick pony, it can bite you. So you got to know when to splice it and dice it, but don't go too crazy. As we continue
absolutely.
the yellows.
And know when to rein it back.
Yes, sir. We go all yellows here to start off. Basically, the yellow flurry to start. Eric's favorite color was yellow. So that's funny. We'll start it off there as he continues. A lot of yellows being used, all numbers here. So Eric playing this one pretty clean and efficient. Here comes Ashley, world champ, of course. And we'll continue. A lot of numbers. That's Seth, 8 straight yellows to start off with. That's pretty crazy. They're all different too. That's definitely one way to limit the card history. And there's the switch. You knew it was coming.
Yep. Eric, the one to initiate that here.
Triple undercut. There we go. Seen that one a time or two.
So it'll be interesting to see here. Ashley, is she playing into the green in her hand, or does she just not want Eric to be able to run in the blue? I mean, again, there's always that offensive, defensive side on every play. You don't know what aspect they might be going for.
You never know, and that's the beauty of Uno. I mean, you just never know what the aspect could be, and you just got to figure out and time it the right way. And when you time it right, it's a beautiful thing. When you time it wrong, you start to question. It gets in your head. It's a psychological game. Uno is probably the one game where it's psychological. And right now, just to confirm, we have got nothing on the board on action. All numbers here. This is truly run dry. Let's see, run dry. Who pops out the run potentially? We'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it, when to use the ammo. Are we using number efficiency here to get down to those ammo cards potentially? Ooh, Ashley out on the green. And remember, she initiated the swap over to green.
Eric can still run. Let's see what happens. Ashley looking for maybe a top deck here. It's been one of her fortes in this league. Is maybe not finding top decks, but not having everything, right? Maybe she's hiding a green or two. We just don't know it. Well, that's a great thing if you're Ashley, right, Seth? Neutralizing the draw city. You can't ask for that. Anything better than that. Both neutralize the draw city now. Both have a strategy. We talked about this. Is that a top deck? We don't know. Is Ashley fading that green? We never know.
We've seen it before, where players they'll draw, but they will have numbers of a certain color to try and throw off the other person, make them think they don't have that color, and then eventually play it near the end of the game.
Here comes Eric. Let's see. He's going to throw a haymaker. Oh boy, here we go. We just talked about this set, the haymakers early. Eric is once again going to try this again. Let's see.
Yep, we ended up seeing him
Yeah.
use okay, so back into the green here. Boy, does he have the number efficiency to be able to get it to a different color with the 1?
Oh.
No. Great play there by Ashley.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Eric, right? I'm seeing a pattern here, Seth. He's going for it, and we saw this with the Brock and Jenna game. Jenna, quick to say, you know what? Slow it down immediately, play patient Uno. Brock, he wanted control of this game and didn't know how to put it in eco mode. You got to sometime know how to coast at the stoplight. You can't just jam on the brakes and expect to stop the car as we go into Draw City. You got to know when to play stealth and eco. That's one of the things with this bot. It's about massaging it, but it's also about knowing what mode to get into as we continue to Draw City. Go for it. Yeah.
And we're into this Draw City here too, which again we were talking about the timing of using the ammo. You look at what Eric did with playing the +4 to get over to the blue. We'd have probably still been in Draw City, and he would have had that +4 still in reserve. Now it's gone.
Yeah, right now it's looking good for both in terms of staying cool, but Eric now in an interesting spot. I think for Eric, he just keep drawing here, right? Why risk it? And he's going to continue to keep drawing, because if you try to go somewhere else, it may not be worth the risk, right? And that's the thing with Eric Monaco. He's got to learn the rhythm, and he's doing a good job here, I think, staying patient, Seth, even after that haymaker, not trying to rush a color. But just as I say that, he thinks he can make the break again. We'll see.
Just to swap over, and something I've noticed last couple of plays here with Ashley as well, just going back to the run in the green, she kept a green in reserve, and then when she would get a second green, she would then play it, but she would have a green in reserve if necessary to be able to potentially use the number efficiency to get it back to green and keep Eric still iced out. So, kind of looking at those tendencies there. And you mentioned about the fact that Ashley's coming in as the defending champ. I guarantee you that we're going to have everybody that ends up having to face off against her if she moves on here. They're going to look back at this game. They're going to look back at all the games that she took part on that were broadcasted back in 2024. Try and get a little bit of a read on what Ashley does, what kind of plays she makes, and be able to try and formulate a counter for it. That's another tough thing when you come in as the champ, because everybody wants to be able to try to get a little peek at your playbook.
Absolutely, that playbook, that's something to know. I think I'll remember that moment. You can ask that question for sure. I'll give you some questions for game 2 or game 3. Excuse me. That's something good. It's the in-game adjustments. Right, you're a coordinator. You see in the field, and right now you're down a couple scores. How do you adjust? And Eric, switching over to blue here, up 4 possessions. How do you adjust to this game plan? Because now, Seth, with this Draw City, we don't know what we got in blue. Eric wanted the blue earlier, but Ashley could combat that and say, okay, you want the blue, I can go right back to another color. Or an end around, and he's back iced out. And that's the thing with this. You have to know when to play aggressive, patient, but also know when to read the field. And here she comes into a triple.
Into the trips, going into the yellow. Maybe more than a trips.
We'll see. Is it
Might
quads?
have something else.
Trips?
You're still nope.
Trips, yeah.
Gonna be the trips.
Into the trips. No, nothing Eric can do on that blue if he had it hanging. That's the thing. You try to avoid the hangers, and for Eric, he's left the blue hanging now potentially. Let's see what he can do in this yellow.
Actually, almost draws back even here with that trips play.
Eric goes for a +2. Okay, so he throws a heater, but nothing crazy. Eric throws the heater now, but the question is he vulnerable on that possible blue? That's the key. We're looking at that blue. Ashley now 2 freshies will play it cool. Let's see what Eric's got here.
I'm almost wondering if there might be a draw if there's not number efficiency here.
Oh, yeah. Great read, Seth.
The reason I say that is because back, I believe it was in the second game, or no, actually it was late in the first game, he played the +2 and a number to get himself out of a certain color. I feel like he did the exact same thing here, played the +2 into the 5, last yellow that he had, and Ashley read that, keeping it in the yellow.
Oh, that's a mistake right there. That's a huge mistake. Eric had a wild, and the draw registered. That is, wow. That's a crazy one right there. I don't know about that one.
That is interesting.
I don't know. We'll have to ask him on that one. I've never seen that one before.
Does he keep the wild card still because of the draw, or is that gone now?
He keeps it. It's just
okay.
That gives Ashley a big advantage now if she knows. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, now she knows he's got that wild if necessary.
Oh boy. Well, and this is for Eric. You wonder Is it the nerves starting to get there, right? You're up, you're in a good spot, you're looking clean, everything's looking good. Caesar says he has no wild, so that was just a... Interesting. Okay. Now I'm getting bombarded by Sanford and everyone watching. We'll see. We'll see if it's a fake play. We have not seen that one. A hot mitt.
You talked about it. This is highly mental game. And, the anxiety coming in, facing off against the defending champion. Got that first game advantage over Ashley. Now she draws it back even. You cannot let your emotions get the better of you and affect your gameplay.
Well, that's it, right? It's about controlling your breath, controlling those high-pressure, high-stakes moments. And let's face it, Seth, Ashley's been here how many times now, right? It's kind of crazy. So many times.
And being that can help your mental state as well. I mean, you can just be cool as a cucumber. I've been here. I know what I'm doing. I'm in my comfort zone. I could tell you, just about every game that I've played here in these tournaments, by the time the game is over, win, lose, or draw, my heart's pounding out of my chest. I mean, the adrenaline's pumping. The wheels in the brain are going. It really is I don't really know how to describe it, but it affects you mentally, and it can actually transition over into the physically sometimes because just how much thinking, how much is packed into what you have to do in terms of strategizing in these type of tournaments and these types of matchups.
We'll see how this one goes. It's interesting for sure, Seth. We're in a moment here where now you wonder what that wild could do. You wonder if Eric wants to even play aggressive right here, right? It's a moment now when you see that card, you got to stop back and think, well, maybe check my CH tab. Think of what I could do on the other end, and that's a hard decision when you see misplay like that. We don't or whatever that was. Yeah.
Last game, it was a 6-pack that Ashley had to finish off the game. She's down to 6 cards now, taking her time. Could we see something like that again here?
We'll see how this one goes. Definitely interesting for sure. Both players, like I said, if you're just joining us late, got a win on the board to start the tournament here. Here we go into a interesting.
We had a quad.
Yeah, that's interesting, Seth. Though, look at this, though. Back to red with the green reverse special. Red. That's interesting. That's what you call an interesting, more of a split decision. A split decision on that one.
Yeah.
We'll see how this one goes. Your thoughts on that? We haven't seen one of those before.
Maybe the green reverse is the only green she had, and she wanted to utilize getting it back to the color she wanted to be able to eliminate the green. I don't know. That one's got me a little bit perplexed here. I mean, it certainly looks like that reverse might have been her lone green, and she used that path to be able to get rid of that, but whether or not she still wants to continue to run in red or not remains to be seen.
We'll see what happens here. We'll see.
Yeah, we're not seeing an immediate play here. So, says to me that might have potentially been her last red as well. Might have been hoping for a number efficiency swap over to a different color. We're not seeing a power play come into play here or anything like that, so I don't know. This one will be interesting to see how it's played out. We're also not seeing an immediate draw, however, either.
I don't know. This is an interesting one. All I can think of here, Seth, it's high percentage play the card history. Right, there's not many blues being played, not many +2s or anything. Right? Who knows who's got the ammo? We'll see. It's an interesting.
Could it also be she's got 2 reds left, and she's weighing the options of if I play this particular red number, that he won't have an answer to swap it over to another color. Might be thinking in terms of the number efficiency there as well.
This is an interesting decision. You're just joining us, like I said. Actually, probably weighing the options right here. This is an interesting one, man. I don't know, Seth. Maybe it's just because of that fake wild, who knows, right? Could be that.
Yeah,
Could
be.
Could be. Weighing that. Could be the fact that we're... I don't know. This is interesting. So it definitely makes the game more interesting when you have a lot more options compared to the past. The old bot, maybe you just make the play and see ya, right? This one's a little more cleaner and a lot more vice versa. I don't know. It's definitely...
You certainly would think with 2 cards left that, the strategy would be cut and dry, but to your point, there's just so many pitfalls you can fall into if you get just a little overconfident. So, again, we've seen this before. We saw this back in the end of the second game. Ashley taking her time, weighing every single option, which is what you have to do. It's so weird because you mentioned the game of chess. In a game of chess, you're playing for yourself, but you're also playing for the other player. You're trying to preempt their moves, and it's the exact same type of strategy here.
We'll see. We'll see how this one goes. Actually weighing the options here. Weighing on, guess, that strategy play. Eric, obviously. Eric, he's an interesting character, Seth, because there's the wild. Okay.
Into the wild.
Well, Caesar says he didn't have the wild. We'll find out. I don't know.
But does he have something in the blue to be able to... Oh,
Caesar was right.
Caesar
was right. Well, that's gonna be... Yeah, I think that fake wild... Caesar, good call on that. Didn't register. Good work on that. Let's go to Ashley. Crazy. Was it just the case that you were just trying to think that he had the wild and that fake play? Yeah, Eric, did you have a wild? Actually... Seth's got a question with the great analysis with the green reverse, with the leaving over the green. But Eric, did you have a wild? What was that, man? That was bizarre.
Well, actually, that was kind of a mistake because I actually had a yellow reverse instead of a wild, not a wild, just a reverse. But I accidentally typed W instead of R.
Oh,
that was a mistake. But I doubt it would have made difference because I still would have had the draw. So. Whatever scenario happens, it'll still remain the same. But yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, but that's once again
I
Seth.
didn't have a wild.
I'll ask Eric the question. Seth, you had a really good point with Ashley with the green holding back. Ask her that. Go ahead. You had some good questions there. Go for it.
Yeah, like in terms of what I ended up seeing with your gameplay there when you guys were in that little bit of a mini draw city, when you guys were running the green, you ended up holding back a green. When you'd get a second one, then you would play, but you would always seem to keep a green in reserve. It's an interesting strategy there. Was that in the case of having something there in case he went for a color swap, having a number to be able to bring it back to green, keep him still iced out? Because we haven't seen that very often. It's an interesting tactic that we may end up seeing other people... Yes, yep, that is for you, Ashley.
What was the question, Seth? Just repeat it one more time.
In terms of when you were running in the green and you guys were drawing, you ended up a couple of times, having a green that you could have played immediately, but you kept it, and you waited till a second green was drawn, then played that, always having a green in reserve, potentially for number efficiency.
So she said, yeah, it's just simple, right?
She said yes. I mean, it's an interesting tactic, and it worked out. We saw it work out. It's an unusual one, but again, she mentioned the word adapt. When you've got the defending champion adapting, you know just how challenging these games are then.
Well, absolutely. That's it, Seth. That's a strategy that there's only a couple people that do that. I know for a fact there's only a couple, and not a lot of people have that in them. It works for some people, but it's a working window, just like any operating window. Eric, excluding that crazy whatever that was, what happened there in terms of the aggression with the switches? Once again, similar. You played a +4, you played a +2, you went aggressive. Do you got to learn how to slow the ropes? Because this is now 2 times in a row where you're getting called out hanging. Whoa, what do you got to do to adjust to get back in here? Because it seems to be a popular thing right here.
Well, usually Usually for the second game, I go like way aggressive, and then and for the next game after, I think I would just like play it out, and then I'll just slowly adjust right to the middle, like in between maybe, or possibly or in the middle between. But yeah, it's a tough time to adjust here, but we'll see what the next game held as I'll play it. I'll play it like neutral, as you could say. Not aggressive, not consistently, but I'll play it. I'll play it just as normal. You know.
We'll go to Caesar here real quick. Ashley, I think, just text me. Her computer's about to die. No problem on that one. Caesar, your thoughts? Eric gets the call here. He's lost on the full sends. Obviously, for Ashley, she'll still have the full send if we get there. Your thoughts on what he's got to do to adjustment? Your thoughts on Ashley with the patience game? It's at this rate. Let's just say it's her trademark. The patience, the unreal timing, and just the feel for the game. You know, obviously, Caesar, you know one or two things about a famous racer from Brazilian, Aaron Senna. You start to get Senna vibes here from Ashley, the way she's able to feel like Senna did with the tires back in the day in the late 80s and 90s. And your thoughts on what Eric's got to do to adjust. And I'll go to Seth here. Seth got the right in for Caesar, but I think this comes back to, once again, it's the same story. Second, sure, Eric got that plan and went great. But if you look at the stat book right here, we're not seeing a high ammo game. It looks like it is, but it's not, because you only have 3 for Eric on wilds and +4s versus 6. But the problem is Eric is not using the +2 control rate. He's doubling up on the +2s, and ultimately that's giving Ashley the ammo. Do you think there's a possible playbook where he maybe says, you know what, maybe draw early? Do you draw out early at the beginning and try to go back to it at the end? What do you think his aggression will be? Because he said this next game he's going to take this a little more tactical.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail right on the head, because we've seen now twice where he's done a double with the +2 and left himself exposed in that color, no longer having any more of it, and we've seen him then have to draw afterwards. A lot of the really good players, and we've seen Ashley do it here as well, instead of using that flurry of ammo, keeping it in reserve, they're willing to go to the pool of drawing, which a lot of people will think, well, why would you do that? Why would you accumulate more cards when the goal is to get rid of the cards? But the drawing not only keeps that ammo preserved for you to be able to make a flurry late, and we've already seen twice now Ashley be able to have those long runs at the close. She had the 6-pack to close out game 2. She had the quad there near the end of this third game. But it also opens up the possibility for you to be able to string chains. The drawing, yes, it may put you in a bit of a situation where you have to change your strategy up, but it could also help you to build up more ammo, be able to build an even bigger chain for later on in the game. And I think that's something that a lot of players, and I myself am guilty of this, where I will not want to put myself in a situation where I want to draw more cards. I want to get rid of cards as quickly as possible, and sometimes that boxes you in and puts you in a situation that you don't want to be in. Sometimes players have to think of drawing might be the lesser of two evils in this situation, and that might be something that Eric will have to adapt to, rather than using his ammo and putting himself in a situation where Ashley's able to run in a color where he has to draw in.
Well, we'll go to game 4 here. Ashley back, need a little computer break. Caesar says he's got to minimize mistakes. No problem, man. I thought you saw a documentary. I never saw him either, but I saw a doc. You're good. All right, Eric, it's your last home game for a bit here. What's it going to be, my friend? We tried 15 last game, just still no 13. What do we got?
Well, let's go lower. Let's go to 12.
All right, Eric, keeping it up tier. All right, so, I like the upper tier, right? We're not trying to win this thing on luck. You know the bot's pretty unstable on 5 to 8. I don't mind this 12-pack right here. See where you can cook.
No, not at all. Not at all. I think that both players have shown that they're pretty comfortable with the higher card counts. I like this call to keep it still up in the upper region there. I think it's going to be very unlikely that we're going to end up seeing any call by lower cards, unless you end up having, like, let's say Ashley ends up having a 3-1 advantage. Maybe you'll see a lower card count, but, unlikely.
Well, Seth, Eric just preached patience, and he's not going for it. He's going balls to the wall, switching right away. We're getting bamboozled.
Immediately into the red there. So, question is, did he have green he could have run with? Does he like his odds better with red and come back to green later on? I mean, he had the choice there with that initial green 6, and both of them going to run here in the red. So this is kind of similar to what we saw at the beginning of the last game, where we were running for a long period of time in the green.
Those numbers, man. Well, Ashley says, okay.
So here we go.
Let's find out, right? Let's find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's truth.
Oh, wow.
That's truth.
He was out of the green from the start.
That's truth right there. That's truth. And she's running with the greens. Ashley in the lead. Now, Eric, he's got to know when to just, you know what? Take it, right? Accept it. You don't have the green right now. Accept it. Don't try to make a stupid decision, right? Don't put any extra ammo. That's a good move right there.
That is a very good move. And now ices out Ashley. So there you go. Great play there. Offensive and defensive all in one package there, with the number efficiency of swapping it back over to the color that he's comfortable with. Now we'll see if Ashley... now he's opening it up Pandora's box potentially.
Yeah, I might free it up. Seth was just about to say we're waiting on the blue, and that's the undercut. And that's Eric. He sees the undercut, but you wonder, could he have just stayed in that red? He had him right there, you know? We'll see what Ashley will do right here. Okay, well, heat check.
A little early shot there from Ashley. Interesting.
First time we've seen it all game, really. I mean, maybe, except the game 1 or game 2 where she threw a little bit of a...
She did that as an answer back, though. She didn't really do that as a firing the first shot, though.
Yeah, so it could be low. Could be a 2-color game. We'll see. Eric now, 2 extra cards. Just played a yellow 0. Looking to erase that right here. He ties it up. There we go.
Interesting there. That play from Ashley, very similar to what I was talking about that kind of was hurting Eric in those 2 other games. Playing the +2 and then the last card of a certain color. Now she's iced out on yellow.
Now Eric looking to run. Eric looking for something. Eric goes for a power play.
Power play? With 8 cards remaining?
This is crazy.
Does he have a chain? There's no way he has a chain of 7.
I'm a little perplexed, I'm not going to lie.
I am too. I'm on the edge of my seat wanting to see how this one plays out, because a power play with 8 cards left in your hand, what kind of a chain do you have that you think can get you to the finish?
We'll see. I'm gonna see what happens here, Seth, but Eric's got something really... now the problem is, right, let's say he gets the win. He's out rest of the series. This is... What? The Y2 did not register, yeah. Eric, it didn't register, man. Yeah, the P.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Actually, that whole chain was just way off, actually. Because now I don't know. Now I have no idea, Seth, because I don't know what he was going for there.
Well, he would have had the yellow skip to the yellow 2 to the blue 2 to the blue skip, play a blue 8, which would have left him, I believe, with 3 cards. Oh, that's a costly mistake right there.
Yeah, Eric's going to have to either... We saw this with Brian earlier today. Now, the thing is, Brian was playing 1 card at a time. He won the game, but we saw that. And you wonder here now, Seth, at this rate... That is bizarre, Seth.
Okay,
because I thought he had a blue 8. Wait a minute.
Well, he probably does. But now he had to change the strategy up because the yellow +2 didn't register. He had to then chain from the blue +2 to the yellow +2 and finish off with a yellow card. So now he has, in a sense, shown what one of his 2 last cards are.
Yeah, now he's got a blue 8, 100% hanging left.
Yep. And Ashley's got 16 cards to work with here to potentially keep the color away from the number 8 or the color blue for quite a while.
And now, no matter what happens, Seth Ashley has power play advantage. It's pretty much any time, any place. That's the...
I mean, the bad news is he showed his hand. The good news was he did have yellow to be able to finish off that chain rather than leaving it on a +2. But still, that is still a costly mistake because the power play is gone, and now your opponent knows at least one of the 2 cards that you've got.
Well, now you know what this means, Seth. It's going to be actually taking your time. We've seen this movie how many times now?
Yeah.
There's no need to rush. I mean, you have a
Nope.
you have a blue 8 hanging. I'm gonna write that one down and say I gotta ask what the mindset was, because that's something. That is definitely.
You know, you look back at it too, and I know that, with this new bot, you've got the opportunity to be able to type in that long chain and everything. But we talk about the taking of your time. He had the power play already in place. He was going to be able to, with the skips and the +2s, he was going to be able to chain them together with even just 2 separate commands, rather than doing it all at once. Again, getting ahead of yourself just a little bit, overstepping just a little bit. If he had kind of reined it back, made absolutely certain that one command was incorrectly, then gone to the next command with the +2s and the skip, he would have then finished out on the number that he wanted, and Ashley wouldn't have known what the other cards are. Just those tiny minor mistakes, and Caesar touched on that before we began this game. Just eliminating, they're just minute mistakes, but they can have catastrophic results.
Goes the green.
I believe Eric does not have green. I think he's too suited. I think with what we saw there, I think he's too suited.
You think so? Yeah. We'll see.
Ooh.
Wait. Interesting.
He had a wild in reserve.
So,
with 15 cards, does Ashley have something that can bring him back?
Well, might be okay.
Oh, she does.
Blue
she
8,
does.
remember.
Look at this.
Yeah, blue 8, remember.
Gonna get it away from the blue with the reverse.
That's it. That will do it. And now,
Great play.
she's not going to throw an 8. There it is. So now Eric's going to have to draw. Well, now it's a wild flush, and that's the compounding of mistakes. I mean,
Yep.
we talked about this with Caesar. He just talked about this. It can just get out of control, man. That's the downside when you try to make these crazy 4-command chains. We talked about it. It's an option. It's not required. Nothing's required in the league to do 4K. It doesn't say that in the rule book. It's just a choice, right? We make those choices. So we're gonna have to write this one down. Here comes Ashley. Probably now you think, Seth, that's a great move, and here's why. You prevent the possible top deck here, so you wonder if a +2's coming or something. Now, Ashley does the 4-command chain, but she's a veteran, right? A legend of the sport. Knows what to do, takes your time, and if you want to do those command chains, and there it is, right? You take you take those risks, and you take and say, okay, give me 2 minutes, and you don't have to use the 5-minute command chain. And now Eric he'll have a chance to respond, but I'm interested to see what happens here, because he's out of power play, so that's one thing to note.
And the great thing on that play of playing the +4 there as well is because there is one card that could have potentially gotten Eric out of trouble, and that would have been a +4 on his side. Now with playing the +4, bringing him up to 6 cards and making it even, you take away that it's a small possibility that could have been there, but you take and eliminate that possibility nonetheless.
Eric gets the +2. Okay.
So now we have to see, now he's got rid of that blue 8. So that's the good news for him right there, is that he at least was able to get rid of the blue 8. Now Ashley has no idea what he has in his hand. He had to get rid of that blue 8.
That's what Ashley needs, though, Seth. That's exactly what she needs. Now it's going to come down to number of fish.
He got rid of the blue 8, but again, exact same play that I talked about that he's done a couple of times, where he plays the +2, plays the last card of that color, and then finds himself blockaded in, now out of blue.
Ashley plays the blue deuce, yep. Eric, reminder, he's out. He's done with the power play. We're finished with that.
Right.
So it's going to come
And what
down
does Ashley do here now? Because does she go with number efficiency? She used an awful lot of ammo right there with 4 skips and a +4. Does she have any other ammo in reserve, or now is she going to be relying down here with 5 cards remaining on just number efficiency to try to get to the end?
Well, green deuce from Eric. He switches it over. And looking at this CH here, Seth, it's no +2s coming, right, in blue and yellow. That's high stats, so you wonder what the play could be with the greens lurking.
I actually had 2 green skips before, but she does have green in reserve, goes to the 0 sugar, and now Eric to the 9. Oh, wow, she had another +4, and keeps it in the green.
Could be a finish, we'll see.
Could very well.
Oh, my goodness.
Exactly. Man, what was that, 3 +4s there? Holy cow.
But Seth, you have to understand, and you and I are both know at this game, what if that was Eric's power play? You got to ask him the question. We got to know, because what was that? Let's go to Seth for the question. We got to ask this.
Yeah, Eric, going back to that power play there, obviously we saw you, it looked like you wanted the end result to be the blue 8. You ended up having, fortunately, a yellow to be able to still put that chain together, but at that point in time, like, did you have something with that power play to be able to follow up and finish out? Because I think it would have left you with 3 cards still.
Okay, back to the power play. I was going. Let me find the. Just gonna. Yeah, look. All right, so back to the power play. I was gonna go yellow skip, yellow +2, and then a blue +2, and then a skip, and then I'm gonna play a blue 8, and then that would have made her the draw. So I would have to use the wild to go back to yellow and play the 2 yellow cards I still have left. So it wasn't the blue 8 at all, but knowing that the blue 8, she already knew it, I was forced to get rid of that. So yeah, another mistake on me to not get the command to render or play the Uno P instead in front of the yellow +2. So yeah, big mistake on me, and it cost me the win there. I possibly could have won.
Seth,
but then again, there's the possibility that she has the ammo that I gave her from that power play.
Well, yeah, I was just about to say, she basically said, you gave me everything. And Eric, we talked about it. You said you were going to play more cautiously aggressive. What was the did you just go for the gap, and you went for the gap saying, hey, I see the gap, I don't go for it, it's game over? What do you got to change for this next game? Because that was intriguing to say the least. Let's just go with that.
Yeah, well, I pretty much had a pattern there for a minute, but then it cost me and such. But I was able to get back there, but she knew that she already knew what I had, so it pretty much it wouldn't matter anyway. So I was close there, but even though despite that mistake, I was close, but really close, only counting horseshoes and hand grenades. So yeah, I was pretty close. So I think the next approach, I'll see if I can try it again, but maybe it's a maybe. Maybe I'll cool it down at the end bit. See. It depends on what do I have on left. Well, this time without the power play in my hand. Yeah. I thought that was a good shot to put the power play in because I knew what I was gonna do.
Seth, you have a question to ask me. Go ahead, man. I'm trying to wrap my brain around it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, actually, I mean, going back, looking at the fact that you were able to kind of mount the comeback there with having nearly 3 times the cards that Eric had, we saw you go with the number efficiency again, be able to ice him out. I believe it was on the green. You mentioned about having that 1+4, though. Being able, obviously, to have that ammo you talked about back in the first game, you just didn't have any ammo to work with. Was that +4 destined as an offensive move, or would that have been a defensive move? Because, what we just heard from Eric, I know hindsight is 20/20. With the use of the power play there, he was going to try and then use his wild to get over to the blue. you would have had that +4. Would that have been used as a defensive play then to be able to bring him back away from Uno, or would you have still tried to find some way to be able to swap the color over, keep the +4 in reserve? Because as you mentioned, you end up getting 2 more when he had that flurry of that quad run.
That was a question for you, Ashley. It's a good question. Seth's got these good questions, but, Seth, as she answers that question, we talked about this at the pregame, right? It all boils down to, and Caesar's going to come in here, and he just said it's these compound mistakes, and it's compound interesting in the wrong way. Let's face it, no problem. And for Eric, he's got one plan, and he saw that plan A win. His eyes lit up when he won game 1, but you got to remember, what did we just say about 10 seconds ago? Just 20 minutes on the spot. We have no idea if that's going to be 4 plan A games in a row, right? You just don't know anymore, and that makes the game a lot different compared to the past. Well, by the time his turn was over, regardless, Shane worked and I was going to +2, so I would have had all those +4 at the end. So it was...
Yeah.
Yeah, it can actually play the percentages at that rate. If one's gone, you got 3. You got it, pretty much. Right.
How do you use dependent karma? Yeah. And again, we talk about just the minor mistakes, and Eric had a plan. He had a plan. He mentioned about the fact that he wanted to play the power play in case Ashley had something to be able to combat it. The problem is that I think he looked ahead 1 card too far with the power play. Because, yes, you would have been able to use the wild to get it over to the color that you wanted, but after you do that, Ashley had a play after that. You had the power play to be able to then get to your wild, but then Ashley would have had an answer with you having only 1 card remaining. I honestly, and again, I said this, hindsight is 20/20. We're in the moment. You're making the decision in the moment. You can look back at it now and analyze, but in that moment there, I think would have kept the power play, wait and see what would have played out with what Ashley's answer would have been with me having 1 card remaining.
We'll go to game 5, Caesar. Seth and I did a great job encompassing that. We'll go to game 5. Long series, but you got to think, Seth, 42 minutes in the series, about 15 minutes of this has been waiting around. In reality, it has. It
has. And that's not a bad thing.
No, it ain't. It ain't. And you know what they say, right? Tortoise hair. Sometimes slow and steady, it wins the race. Let's go to game 5. Ashley, you know the drill. 12, 14, 15's off. Everything's available. Caesar will type it in. What do we got? All right, we'll go 11. Caesar will get us ready. Remember, folks at home, Ashley has the power play advantage at any time. We'll see if Eric can play more patient here, Seth. I think game 1, he's got to go back to that patient mentality because this aggressiveness with that move, I think it's a confidence deflator. You got to think about what got you there, and trying to go too cracked out at the beginning is recipe for disaster.
And you mentioned it earlier. I missed what matchup it was where you said that somebody ended up not even having to use their power play in a match of 7. I mean, if I'm Ashley at this point, I'm not even thinking about the power play here in game 5. Maybe run number efficiency, see if you can get something working. If it gets desperate where you absolutely need to use it to chain something together at the end, then yeah. But at this point, I'm not even thinking about that power play because you're up 3-1, you've got the advantage.
We'll see how Ashley does right here. Plays it cool, right? Plays it cool. Let's see what Eric will do. Well, Seth, he's going aggressive, and it's the same thing as the last game. Yep.
So now the question is he going on the offensive to throw Ashley off, or is this kind of going back to what happened in the last game where he actually was out of that particular color? That's something that Ashley will keep in the back of her mind for later on.
You back pocket that. Eric plays a red deuce. Comes Ashley. She'll draw. Similar to last game where Ashley had no red. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very similar. Now here comes Eric. Does he flip it over? He won't. He'll play it clean. Ashley looks to have blue, though, so that's...
Back to the blue. So here we go.
Same course
Here's
again.
The tester.
Yep.
Was he playing possum with the swap over, or is he out of...
Yeah,
blue?
he
And
was.
There you go. There's the answer. Yep.
Yep. He got caught again, and once again, Seth, this is what we're talking about. You wonder for Eric, right? It's not a bad play to use the wild, but now you leave it open, and that's the thing. You leave that color hanging, and that's that's the key, is how do you try to get back in this with that color hang?
It's not a bad play to play the wild for sure, but would you have liked to have kept that wild for later on in the game? You know, another situation where maybe going into draw in the blue might have not been that bad of a decision. Because now you see that now Ashley's more than willing to be running here in the green.
Here comes Ashley now, taking her time. You know, you got all time in the world. Take your time. Don't hurry up. There's the old adage, take your time, but hurry up. Well, this time, take your time. You don't need to hurry up.
Yeah. Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait, right? Take your time here, but in this case, take your time. There's no need to rush. But back to the gameplay, Seth, real quick. You know, we still have this interesting aura. Right? We don't know what's going to happen with this region. We talked about this region. It's been a upset-heavy region. We've had Goldie. We've had Allen win one. I believe someone else, Logan. It's been upset-heavy region, and when you have these upsets, you wonder when, okay, who's going to take authority? Who's going to take control? And until that champ is proven otherwise, she still has control as the one seed, for sure.
Exactly. Absolutely correct. And, you know, as I mentioned, we've had some upsets already in the other regions. You know, the fact that this is the first time we're having a matchup here. These two were supposed to match up against each other last year, and it never actually came to fruition. The fact that these are brand new matchups that are going on here, and nobody really has a read on anybody else until the cards are out on the table, that makes it interesting. And who's going to be the one to step up? They've already been able to pull off an upset. Can they pull up another offset further on down the road?
Here comes Ashley. Let's see what she'll do here. Yellow for Eric. Interesting. Ashley to 6. Typing this one through.
I don't want to give away Ashley's strategy, but I am going to be very curious to see something here later on in the game, see if she kind of went back to the well of something we saw earlier on.
Yeah, same wavelength. I was just thinking about, do you go back to the playbook of a game maybe you did previously and try to catch Eric off guard? Remember, that's the thing.
Thinking back to game 3. I don't know if she did it again, but we'll see.
We'll see, man, and that's the beauty of this, right? It's a mind game. It's a game of cat and mouse. It's a game of play the strategy on the end. So,
who blinks first?
She's taking her time here.
Feel like there might be a particular color she wants to try to get back over to. And I think she's trying to think of what the options could be to get there. With only 3 cards left, there is a chance she could end up playing a card that would send him into having to draw.
Well, there's the KT. We saw this earlier.
The blue.
Well, we saw it earlier. Remember, Seth, he drew on that with the wild.
He did, but we also had him draw a couple of cards, so does he have a blue now? Yes. Oh.
Let's see what Eric will
Actually,
do.
with a little preempt there.
Let's see what Eric even got. Comes Eric.
Taking a little time here. Does he have a chain to at least get to Uno? Maybe to finish this thing out?
We'll see with Eric. You never know. Oh, he had a monster hand.
Wow.
Can't even do anything about that.
Nope, not at all.
Nothing you can do about that.
And there you saw he took his time. He
Oh,
didn't
man,
put it all. Wow.
Yeah,
Gracious.
that is monster. There's nothing to ask.
Where did all those come from? Did they get drawn, or did he have them?
Eric, did you have all that
Goodness.
stuff? Eric?
Yes, I did. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like hoping like she wouldn't change the color. Then I would have to revert to the. Well, actually, I don't think it didn't matter if she did change color, because I would play the wild +4, then back to the +2 with the yellow, and then back to the wild with +4 again. Oh yeah, it was a I think it was a win-win situation for me. Well, unless she had a wild though.
No, all she had was that regular wild. I don't really think I could really ask much if you had all that off the start. Really, there's nothing to say, Seth.
No, no, absolutely not. I mean, I kind of
Rock
wondered when we saw her draw back in the green if maybe she had another green there to try and get it back to that color. I'm guessing probably not because we saw her use the wild into the blue rather than into the green. I kind of wondered if she went back to something we saw her do back in game 3, but man, there's nothing you can do in that type of a situation. And this goes back to something we were talking about for the first 3 games, really, KT, is when to use the ammo. We saw Eric use the ammo a lot in the middle of the game, or just maybe in the final 2/3 of the game. He waited on the ammo this time to be able to chain it together. That, I think, was something, if he had adopted that a little bit earlier, we might be seeing this maybe as a 3-2 in his favor. But hey, drawing it back up, 1 game behind now.
We'll see how it goes. I don't got anything to really add to. That was classic. Had the hand, right? We'll go from there. All right, Eric, no 11-13. Everything is a free to go, my friend. What do we got here? Pretty plain either.
Let's go 10.
I'll go 1 down, all right. Ashley, remember, has the power to play advantage. We'll go 10 cards. Back to now, Seth. We'll see what we got. Green now will go to Brian to start us off. Eric now has home. We'll see if he can rally this one.
Eric had some tremendous ammo, as we just heard there, off the initial draw with 11 cards. We'll see what type of ammo is dispersed here with 1 less. Again, I feel if I'm Ashley, I'm not really necessarily thinking about the power play right out of the gate. Kind of a wait and see what happens here as you start getting down to 3-4 cards remaining.
Let's see what Eric will do right here. Well, now this key is Eric is aggressive off the start again, Seth. Wow. He just
the
going
wild into the blue.
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
A situation, was it the right time to play that, or should you kept it in reserve and drawn? He's been aggressive on these color changes, but a lot of the color changes he's done is because he's actually out of the color currently in play. It hasn't been necessarily to throw Ashley off. It's been to be able to help him get to a color that he needs.
We'll see how this one goes. So Eric definitely taking risks here. Eric decides to go for
efficiency because you got to know Ashley's going to try and get it back to green. She's done it before in the last couple of games. Taking notice of the color he's out of, and she's going to have to draw in the blue. So it actually might have potentially worked out in Eric's favor, at least here in the early going, of using that wild over to the blue.
Well, now he'll go into this blue 8, playing some number of fish. Keeping it drawn back.
Doing good on the number efficiency right now, unless Ashley might be drawing to try and find some ammo.
See what Eric will do here. He goes for a +4, throws the heat check. Oh, man. But now the question is, Seth, this is interesting now. We'll go to red. It's interesting.
Interesting.
Because now Eric's throwing a +4, and you wonder, is he deficit on 1 color?
Yeah, could be. We haven't been in red yet. We'll see if he does have 1 or not. He does.
Okay.
Could be 2 colored right now.
Eric decides to go make the break early. Not really much to say in terms of CH here, Seth, looking at this.
This is a similar scenario here, too. Ashley's got 13 cards, Eric with 3. You remember back to when he utilized his power play, it was around this time that Ashley was able to accumulate ammo when the double +2 was played on her. Now the +4 played. When does she pull the trigger if she's got ammo to draw him back away from Uno?
We'll see what happens. Checking the table here. Eric down to 3. There's a +2. So that sends Eric packing a little bit, Seth.
Do we chain this together? Nope, we play it cool. We stay in the red. Okay, interesting. Just a little shot across the bow.
Yep. Eric can still roll with the red. See what Ashley will do here. Little 1. Saw that red 1 out, so we're out of red 1s. Another wild there from Eric there.
Yep. Going back into the blue again, which is surprising because he was actually the one that used the wild +4 to get alpha blue.
That's not even a bad move, Seth. You can't.
No.
You can't. You just saw what happened the last game with that +4 flurry. Not the worst move.
No, not at all. Can't afford to have a repeat of the end of last game.
And maybe you get a little number efficiency and it works out in your favor. You never know in this game. We'll see what Ashley gets here. Off the draws now. Ashley
Eric made the initiative to go over to blue. How much does he have? How much can he run?
That's the thing, Seth. How much can you run? How much can you really find the answers in this game? And that's the beauty of Uno. You got to know when to find the answers. And right now, the answer really is just going to come down to who can save it to the end for sure, and who knows when to play aggressive and then conservative.
He has done a good job so far on the 2 wilds that he's played to get it over to blue. It has worked out in his favor here.
Wi-Fi probably.
Might be the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it might be Wi-Fi. I'm good on my end.
Yep, I am as well.
Yeah, might be Wi-Fi. You're good. Okay. Okay, hold on. Yeah, take your time. We got time. Take your time. Take your time, man. Just reset it. We'll wait for that. Huh. That's weird, man. Caesar, yeah, you always check the API. I'll check the portal, so we'll just take a small break. Hold on, that might be my portal. Give me 1 second. Seth, can you take over? I'm going to check my portal. I don't want this to be showing screen.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You could recap the game, you know.
Yeah, so, I mean, right now we're sitting at Ashley with 11, Eric at 3. Again, though, Eric does not have the power play. Used it up. Ashley does have the power play, so kind of looking at this, I mentioned about the fact that last game didn't feel that the power play would be something that Ashley would be thinking about out of the gate here. Not necessarily something she would go to, but now you start wondering. Now you start thinking about it. With Eric down to 3 cards, does the power play have to be used in a defensive position? What has Ashley got in reserve? Because we've seen her have to go into drawing with blue. She's been very good on the number efficiencies. There's something that she can use to draw back to a different color. And is blue all that Eric has left?
Yeah,
or is there something else
good.
that he
Portal's
needs as well?
good, so it's got to be an internet thing, because I checked it. There's no... Well, we followed protocol, Caesar. API is good. Apparently, when you go on Discord stats, when you see an API going wavy and whatnot, that's for show. I don't know. I think it needs to say reported incident to actually register as an issue. So we're stuck on Ashley Blue 9 right here. Still nothing. What is going on?
Oh, we're back in business.
All right, we're good. All right, well, you're good to play now. I think we're good.
Right, we continue to roll. She's still drawing in the blue. Eric had 3 cards left at the end of last game. He had ammo.
Eric
He's
looking
only
for the
used
win.
he used a couple of wilds. That's it. Does he have something else here?
Comes Eric. Eric typing it out. Still typing it out, Seth. Really typing it out. This could be.
This could be a finish.
We'll see. Eric looking for it right here.
I mean, it would seem appropriate, right? Go into a game 7. We haven't had any of those yet.
No. Just 11, right?
That's all.
Had a long stream. Appreciate. No, it's not a finish, Seth.
Not a finish. Ashley was there for the call out, but Eric got the Uno in. Now, Ashley's got, 16 cards to be able to work with here.
That's a lot, man.
And we've had 2 now of the +4s played. That means there's 2 still out there.
Alright, we'll see. Can't actually get this one working. We'll find out.
He left it open on yellow. We know Ashley didn't have blue. There's a lot of paths that Ashley could take right here. She could swap color over with skips if she has them, with reverses if she has them. She doesn't necessarily have to hit him with big ammo if she indeed has one or both of the remaining +4s.
You know, I'm thinking about this. Eric did this earlier in the game, too, where he did a +4 into a color. And maybe he's trying to look for bait. We see this with Toaster Guy, too. Who knows?
Yeah,
That's the
it's a
thing.
good point. I mean, does he have a yellow to finish out? Could he potentially still have a blue? Could he be looking for number efficiency here? Potentially. I mean, there's every likelihood he could maybe have a wild.
That'd be something.
She's going to play it cool. This will be interesting.
Here comes Eric for the
Did
win.
not use
Nope.
the defensive power play. Whoa, he iced himself.
Yeah, nothing. Nothing.
I wonder if he tried to play the number efficiency. I could be wrong, but I'm going to guess that last card he had was a blue. And he tried to maybe throw Ashley off, make her think that he was completely out of that color and wanted to stay in the yellow, and she took the bait and it worked.
Well, that's the thing, man. It's a little bit... This whole bait thing, this whole bait and switch debate, you just never know.
I mean, if it is a blue, then I would kind of wonder why he wouldn't continue running it, then use the +4 at the end. So actually, looking in hindsight, I could be completely wrong in that. It may not have been a blue. Because I feel like if he did have a blue and a yellow remaining with the +4, he would have finished out with blue, and then with 2 cards remaining, just use the +4 to finish out, swapping it over to the yellow.
Well, and that's the thing, is we get the law. We apologize for the... Well, this is a board series. But we're starting to see tendencies here, Seth, because now Eric, he's tried this +4 into a yellow, right? Hasn't worked. You know, you think about number efficiency, maybe, but now the question is, does he have a hanging possible way to get back? We saw the power play miss earlier.
That's the thing, right?
Looking at this card history,
in that
too,
situation, he wanted to get the yellow 3 out, but could there have been a better way with just drawing and keeping the +4? Who knows? I'm almost wondering if the card that he was stuck out on might have been one given to him when Ashley did that little the little hip check with the +2.
Yeah. We'll see.
got 15 cards, you've got the potentiality of a lot of options you can go with.
Well, we'll see.
Could potentially still be planning to run it in the yellow, just trying to figure out the number efficiency, what number would be the best one to play that he wouldn't be able to then swap over the color.
That's true, Seth. That's true.
He's going to go with the 3, so let's see. Does this keep Eric still drawing?
I mean,
Or does he have something to
he's still
swap?
drawing, he's
There's
out.
still a draw. So that's exactly what Ashley's doing. She's taking her time with the number efficiency, weighing the odds of what yellow number would be the least likely for him to be able to get a swap.
We'll see right now. We'll see. It's a cat and mouse game, right? Because you have so many cards, you wonder what you want to do with them. He's just gonna draw and play it cool. Let's see what Eric will do here.
Unless he was able to top deck something. I think he's probably going to have to draw as well.
What will Eric do here? Oh my god, he top decked something, Seth.
Wow.
That is crazy.
Wow. He had to have top decked the +4.
There's no way.
Had to have. Holy cow.
Yeah, you had to top deck that +4, right? There's no way.
Well, technically it was the last draw that I got.
Well, yeah, top deck, yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, thank God that the wild +4 came in my time of need.
How many game 7s are we going to... What's this, 12? 3 in a row in the day?
At least one more. As Charles says, another one.
Seth, I don't even know what was going on. I don't really have much to think here, actually, because the bot went out. Well, I guess on your end, the internet went out, then that went out. I don't even know what's going on in this series. Seth, how do you even explain this one, man?
You said it at the beginning of this entire tournament, of this matchup, in the fact that what the bot has been able to do in just how much of a factor it comes into play in these matchups. Ashley did everything right in playing defensively there, keeping it in the yellow and everything. It's just the bot bailed Eric out. There's nothing you can do to fight off against that. But I think a key thing that we're going to be having for a main talking point here going into this Game 7 is the fact that Ashley still has the power play. Could have used it near the end of Game 5. Could have used it near the end of Game 6 in a defensive, but she still has it in reserve. That could be the difference maker.
All right, well, she really only had a +2. I mean, that's about it. I don't know, man. I mean, looking back at this game with the card history set, you wonder if that internet outage, right? I'll get to that later, Sanford. Thank you. I thought it was a scoreboard issue. You just wonder with that, it becomes more of a cat and mouse game, because now all the numbers are used here, and then you have to look. Do you try a +2? We've seen the +2 7, +2 2s, +2 3s, and then it draws. So that will come into play with the power play for Ashley. We'll see how this one goes. Let's get to it. It's Game 7. Ashley, everything's available other than the 15 and the 14 and 12. What do we got here? This is a good one. It's at 12 Game 7s. I mean, it's unbelievable for a first round. We haven't seen something like this in a long time, man.
I think I have an idea. I was going to say, I was going to be shocked if it wasn't 13, because you look at the last two, we've been in the mid-tier region with 11 and 10, and the ammo has been on Eric's side.
Here we go.
Only high number that she has left to be able to call with having wins on 12, 14, 15, so I'm not shocked that she's going with 13.
OG's full send. Yes, sir, Sanford. He's watching on stream. Crazy game today. We've had 3 Game 7s, 2 more tonight to come. Here we go. We'll find out.
Are you predicting 2 more Game 7s coming up tonight?
Well, we don't know about that last one. That last one's non-stream. I won't be there for that one. So that's too past my blood. But 9 o'clock.
Hey, the odds are in favor, it seems.
Yeah. See what Ashley will do here.
Remember what I said at the beginning of this? Expect the unexpected. The statistics said that this probably should have been a 4-0 runaway, and here we are going into a Game 7. Just the unpredictability of this tournament so far.
Well, Ashley will take her time now, similar to Game 1. Figure this out.
Oh, yeah.
Right, figure this out. Try to not go uber aggressive, uber unconventional. See how it goes.
Granted, Eric has been bailed out near the end of these last 2 games, but I have also seen an adaptation where he's been able to pick up and kind of make some changes in terms of a couple of the mistakes he made in the early going. So we'll see if he continues that trend here, can just keep his cool, because, man, I'll tell you what, you're going up in a Game 7 with a chance of maybe eliminating the defending champion. Your head's got to be in a spin right now. You got to keep your composure.
See how this one goes. Here we go. First plays yellow 1. Let's see. Into a 5. Ashley draws early. Anticipation is building. So apologies, I'm getting bombarded with something. I don't know. I'll look at it later. I'm trying to tell these guys. Can you just take over real quick, Seth? Appreciate it, man.
Yep, definitely can. So see if Ashley, if she actually is out of yellow, could be playing it a little close there to the chest, not showing exactly what she's got. Little double play from Eric. The reverse keeping it yellow. Question is this the same kind of fade look that we've seen from him in the past? Does this mean that he's out of yellow? Does he still have yellow to run with? Can Ashley get something swapped over, or does she actually have yellow in reserve here? This might be one of the few situations, if Eric is out of yellow, where this will work out in his favor, because based off the draw, Ashley could also be out of that same color. Both players could be looking for the swap over. Who does it first?
Yeah, it's all about the swap over for sure. So I'm gonna make this quick call, man. Take it over for a minute.
You got it. So Ashley still taking her time here. We'll see if this is going to be a situation where if she does have a card that can swap over to a different color, does she play it? Does she instead decide to potentially send us into a draw city? We haven't, surprisingly, if you look back at our previous 6 games, we have not gone into a major draw city. We've driven through, but we haven't stopped off at a hotel or anything like that. Haven't stopped to see the sights. But she will swap it over into the green, and now we're going to run in the green here. Both players going to run just with the numbers here to begin with. We'll see who's going to potentially be out of green, try and make the swap from here. Does anybody have any ammo in this color? For the moment, just playing it cool. Both trying to get down to single digits. Eric already down to 7. And there's the swap over to the blue by Ashley. She's initiated the last 2 color swaps. From the yellow over to the green, and now the green over into the blue. Remember, Ashley still has that power play as well, and now Eric will initiate into the other color, the final color, red. Both players at this point may have gotten themselves to 2 colored hands. It may now be a back and forth as to who's going to be able to stay in their preferred color. We saw a lot of ammo dished out in the previous 2 games with 10 and 11 cards. Took a little time when we were in the last couple of higher card counts for the ammo to really reveal itself. We'll see if either one of these two, or both, have ammo to be able to work with at the close, or are they relying for the most part on just number efficiency and waiting for that ammo if they are able to get it necessarily on Draw City. Ashley with 9 cards. Remember, she ended up having a 6-pack to close out the second game. So 9 cards may seem like a lot, but if somebody's got a chain that they're able to put together, they can definitely make something happen, especially with the fact that Ashley only would really need to chain 7 or 8 cards, because she does have the power play still available as well. Ashley will continue to run with the red. Eric will certainly have something for this since he initiated the swap over to that color. Now Eric taking his time here. It ran for quite a while in yellow and in green. But again, now the skip by Eric, so he'll go for at least a double here. You have to wonder if there might have still been some green or some yellow that Eric wanted to play before the swap was initiated. Goes for the skip, leaves it on the skip, and now draws. And now Ashley with a decision. Does she play off of the skip? Nope, instead she still has red. And that's a great play there. Oh, wow, I was going to say, Eric was going to need number efficiency because with playing the 7, with him playing the skip and having to draw, he was obviously going to be out of red. He would have to have number efficiency to get over to a different color, and he will swap over to the blue. Looking back, that's interesting with Eric having blue because Ashley made the swap over to blue and immediately Eric brought it over to the red. So he wanted to run in the red for a while, still had blue in reserve. Good number efficiency there. Ashley with the power play. She has 7 cards left. Plays the blue 4, and is this the finish? Into the skip. Double skip. Trip skip. The +2, this has got to be the finish. 2 cards left.
Yeah, it's got to be it.
And there it is.
No, that's it. It's over. Ashley gets it done. Yeah, Seth, thank you. We had something come up with Carson, so your buddy.
Not a problem.
Yeah, I'll get to him in a minute. Apologies for that. Eric, you took it 7, man. I'll give Seth the question, but because he saw the game, unfortunately. But your thoughts on, taking a Champ 7 game? We've had so many Game 7s, man.
Yeah, well, I said I might break the chain, but, I didn't think it would go to Game 7, but good that first time I made to Game 7 in the whole round, but sadly wasn't able to get the victory there. And she definitely played the thing here. And also, Kai did have a plan here, but I think with that more cards, okay, I was gonna say I had before I was forced to draw, I had blue 1, 6, +2 and 8, and I was going to use the 8 to switch over the green in case she draws again. But using +2, I think I would give her ammo. And usually, I could have played the +2 earlier, but I had a. But usually, that using giving her the +2 would just give her ammo. So my strategy was just to give her like less ammo as I can. Like that's why like I was so reluctantly playing the +4 or a +2 in the previous round. And I only wanted to play the +4 in case it would suit me to the end. Thankfully, that +4 came at the end in the last game, but sadly, time was on my side here.
You're good, Eric. I'm going to talk to Ashley real quick. Ash, obviously, look, it's not the same league anymore, right? We talked about last year. The meta is completely different. You had to get some time. Game 1, you really struggled a little bit just getting back to the rhythm. Do you feel this is a good battle test game? Let's not forget, against Cap, you lost. You won 4-3, right, in round 2 last year. Eric gave you a fight. What did you pick up and learn? Because you're going to be playing a player that you've never played someone that has split ammo. You're supposed to play Chomik, who has that very split ammo game style. How do you prepare for Allen, who plays similar to Chomik, but you've never seen Chomik play yet? How do you prepare for the challenge? And what did you learn today, especially in these endurance battles, getting battle tested with the pause? And I'll go to Seth here. Apologies, Seth. Like I said, I have to handle some scheduling business with Retro and Carson. I'll get to them in a second. But what did you learn today, man, knowing that Ashley got tested, we saw 6-7 metas, and what can you apply to your game? Because your game's tomorrow, too.
Yeah, I mean, I've picked up on some stuff. Hopefully I remember it within this 24-hour period to try and apply it tomorrow. I mean, adaptation has been so huge, it seems, here, especially with this meta that we have now with this bot. Ashley looked like she had a perfect game plan being up 3-1. Unfortunately, the ammo situation was what then hurt her and allowed Eric to be able to draw it back here to a 3-3 and bring us into a Game 7. And as you mentioned, battle tested. We've seen this already. I mentioned about the fact that we've already had 2 16 seeds in other regions eliminate the number 1 seed. We got so close here to maybe having a third one with the defending champion. The fact that now for the higher seeded players who have the statistics, they have the knowledge, they have the background, they're not coming into these matchups with a sure thing that they're just going to move on handily to the next round. They are being battle tested, which in an essence, when they come out on the winning end, I think makes them even scarier moving on to the round of 32, the round of 16, into the Super League and all that, because they're now seeing things that they may not have seen in the past. They're adding just a little bit more to their repertoire here in what they've had to do against players that, they may not have necessarily seen in terms of as much of a battle as we saw here moving into a Game 7. I think that this is going to really help Ashley further on down the road here. I think that also, on the flip side, granted, he's eliminated, but I think that this was a tremendous experience for Eric because, as I said, even just in this matchup alone, I saw an evolution of his gameplay. I saw mistakes that he made in the early going. You heard him even say, here in these last couple of matchups, he didn't want to play the +2s, the +4s, because he realized in those early games it gave Ashley ammunition. He wanted to avoid that situation. We saw an evolution of Eric Monaco here in this, and I think that that's going to make him an even better player further down the road.
And I think you said it best, Seth, right? It's early in the season. You get the loss out of the way now, and you come back. Seth, when you take someone like a World Champ 7, you ain't gonna be no 16 seed, right? There's other guys that unfortunately have fallen off the path, so he's gonna move up in seeding and give him a more favorable opponent. For Eric, it's a learning, and I think for Eric, the thing he'll probably have to look at, control the ammo and then the power play, right? The power play is a very unique thing to do. No other league has this. Maybe if you play Friends, okay, you have one of those custom cards with Uno. I know Uno has a custom card deck. Put Uno power play on it. That's the only time you ever see it. That's a house rule. And I think for these players that were 16 lines, they got to learn that aspect of Uno. And once they learn that, they'll be ready to go on the money. But good job to Eric today. Let's go to that bracket. I got to handle some stuff, so we're going to make this quick. Ashley versus Alan. Alan will be on the road. And then it'll be Abby on background. We'll set this top half tomorrow at 9 in the morning. 9 in the morning, man. What a crazy game that's going to be. That's the beauty of this league, though. Seth will be there tomorrow, too, at 12. And we go into the stage. Well, unfortunately, it looks like the Carson game will be rescheduled because of him getting sick. So we don't have that one. I got to figure that out now. But Chomik and Graham will happen at 9. So that will be the last game that we'll worry about Carson Laird. It's probably going to be moved to... at this rate, it's either on Monday or something. We'll look into that. But regardless, either Sunday or Monday, we'll look into that. Regardless, though, thank you so much for Seth Cole. Seth, this was your only stream, man. But you know what? We'll see you back in a couple future rounds, brother. Have a great time tomorrow on the table. And real quick, Caesar, any final thought before I go? I always got to give it to Caesar. Caesar, any thoughts, man? Ashley getting battle tested. I'm sure she'll say something in her quote. Holy mo! Okay, you know what? That's it. That's the quote. Holy moly! Holy moly, baby. I like it. All right, for myself and Seth, Caesar is the ref. I want to thank Non-Puzzle Dan and everybody who's stuck with it. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Stay well and have a good night. We'll see you back at 9 o'clock.